Welcome to my channel. You are watching Casual Gardening and Cooking. Now, a few weeks ago, I took you through my process on sowing some vegetables. So we've got some peppers, we've got some leeks, and we've got a few varieties of celery, celeriac, and leaf celery. Now, I'm happy to report that they all germinated. And that's why we are doing today's video. I'm going to show you the next step on how to look after them so you will have perfect seedlings when the time comes to take them outside or to your greenhouse. Now let's take one step back just as a reminder so you will understand the process what I'm doing right now. So as the seeds were sown, okay, I'm a bit of a fan of these tiny greenhouses. You can buy them in Lidl or on internet. They're not expensive at all. And now I've got actually 3 of them. And I will explain why in a separate video. So make sure to subscribe to my channel so you won't miss that. However, let's focus here. Now, before these seeds germinated, what I did, I actually did use this as a small greenhouse. So it was locked down and it was holding a lot more moisture and heat as well. And that did help all these seeds to germinate. I think out of all the cells, I think it's just one that's empty. So it does say the process is actually quite good. Now, when the seeds actually germinate, you need to let some air in, okay? So you don't want to have a lot of moisture to be built up inside, okay? They need a bit of ventilation and they need a bit of air. Otherwise, if you leave them as they were, you are risking to have some diseases starting or some fungi or anything like that. So it is important to actually take the cover off. Now, in a few weeks' time, when they actually grow a little bit more, I'm going to take the plastic cover totally and there won't be anything covering the rack itself. However, for now, I'm still going to leave it on just for that extra warmth that it gives, but it will be always open to allow the airflow. Now, the next step is watering. Okay, it's super important and it's crucial to have healthy seedlings. You can't water them too much or too little. Either way, you're going to harm them. Okay, so to start with, until they germinate, and probably about 2 or 3 weeks later, I'm using a sprayer like this. So it spreads a nice mist on them. So it won't cause the seeds to move about, and it just creates a nice environment. And the seeds are to the top. That means they will have enough moisture, enough water to start with at the beginning. So that's my process. I do use a sprayer. However, now there is no need for a sprayer anymore. And I'm going to show you how I'm actually watering my plants. So these are my peppers. As you can see, they are absolutely gorgeous. And these are now a good indicator on when to change the way you water your plants, okay? As you can see, these are the first leaves that always pop up, okay? They're not the true leaves. However, my peppers do have 2 true leaves already. And that means the root system is in place. Beforehand, you do want to water them from the top as the root system is not developed enough to actually reach down to the soil. But now the root system is in place, so you can change the method of watering them. So now I'm just putting water inside of the tray, not on top, but just inside here. Now I'm going to leave this tray like this for about 20 minutes. This time will allow the soil to actually soak in the water content, and you will actually be able to see the moisture right at the top as well. And that will be enough of water and moisture for these plants. This method with adding water to your plants from underneath is actually very good and healthy for the root system of the plants. As the level will drop down, the moisture will get lower and lower in the pots themselves. That means the plants will develop a better root system. And that's what we want, because they need to have the ability to take the nutrients from soil, and roots are very important to do that. Then you may have another question. How do I know when to water my plants and when to water my seedlings? Well, it's actually quite simple. This is the method I use. So when you do water them and you remove the water from the tray itself, from the bottom tray, you can weigh them in hands, okay? You will know how heavy they are. And after a day or two, you can take the whole tray to your hands and see how heavy it is. If it's much lighter, that means, well, they need some water. On top of it, if the topsoil is really dry or starting to get dry, it's time to water them as well. Now in this tray, I do have some leeks and I do have different types of celery. Always try to put 2 or 3 seeds in each cell, as the germination rate usually on the package themselves, it does say about 80 to 90% depending on the seeds. So by adding a few more seeds into each tray, you are making sure that you will have germination. And as you can see, I've got only 1 cell that I had no germination. Everything else, well, beautiful plants, beautiful seedlings on the way. However, what that means, we actually need to thin this out, okay? We've got too many plants and they will start fighting against each other, trying to get enough sun, trying to get enough micro components so they can grow, okay? So we need to thin this out. We need to take the weakest ones out. Now, don't be afraid of doing this, okay? It's just the natural selection, making sure that you will have the healthiest plants and the best results. And check out the root system on this leek, absolutely fabulous. Now at this stage, I'm still gonna leave more than I should, just in case if something happens, I will have some spare ones. So don't remove all of them, but leave 2 or 3. Depending obviously on what you're growing. And as I've done with leeks, I'm going to do exactly the same thing with the celery. And finally, the last thing I want to mention, and it's super important that actually you do support your plants with this. Now, as you can see, I've got a massive window and it's facing south, so I do get a lot of sunshine in here. However, it's not enough. In Feb time, March, sometimes even April, you don't get enough sun. And especially if you're sowing indoors and you don't have a greenhouse to take some of the vegetables out. Obviously, you can't do that with all of them that do like a bit of warmth. But yeah, sunlight is an issue, is a problem. And actually, lack of it can terminate your seedlings or will create plants that will not give you good harvest, and they will be prone to diseases. Okay, so it's super important to have correct amounts of light when it comes to seedlings, and that's why I invested in some grow lights. Now the ones I've got, they're only basics, but as you've seen on my seedlings, they're absolutely fine. They're not stretched out, they're not looking for sun, they're nice, thick and healthy, okay? And that's what you want. And these lights do help with that immensely. Now trust me on this, because my first season was without them and the difference is massive, okay? I really struggled the first season to actually get any good seedlings going, but later on I invested in the grow lights and it made all the difference. Now these ones, they're fine, they're not the best. Obviously you can bend them to any position you want, which is sometimes quite good. So these are used for the peppers, and having a greenhouse of this type is again quite beneficial because you can clamp these on top of the shelves, and you know, you can establish the position of these quite easily. Now how far the light source needs to be, about 2 to 4 inches depending on the plant itself. So you know, you can position them quite easily and make sure they are in the right place. However, recently I've bought a few panels like these and they seem to do a better job of lighting up the inside, okay? They're a bit more pricey, they're a bit more expensive, But if you really want to have nice and healthy seedlings and you are invested in this and you do really want to have beautiful vegetables in your garden, it's one-time investment and it's definitely worth it. Now I'm going to try to leave some links for you to the grow lights I'm using in the description down below, so you can go and have a look at, see what I'm actually using. And there you go. Now, how long should they be on? I would say between 14 to 18 hours a day, not longer than that. And usually these lights will have some sort of a timer that you can switch on and they will work automatically. But in my opinion, having enough sunlight, having some extra light for the seedlings is absolutely crucially important. And that's it for today's episode, guys. That's the second step in having fantastic seedlings growing into full-fledged plants that will give us fantastic harvest. Obviously, I will take you through the whole process right to the end as we're going to be enjoying the vegetables, and that means cooking. So there will be some really cool recipes on this channel later on as well, so you can enjoy both growing your plants and actually then eating the vegetables that you manage to produce in your vegetable garden. But don't go just yet. I've got two playlists here for you. One is about cooking, one is about a vegetable garden. Check them out and maybe you'll find your next video there to watch. Thank you very much, and I hope to see you on my next video. Take care.